I think if we leave the county, there's a good chance we get deported. So let's watch Hasanabi talk about getting detained by ICE.
Boy, do I have some stories to tell you. Holy moly. They're watching. Oh, the feds are watching. They're always watching. Feds are always like this. Okay. Now we know for real. I have a lot of interesting stories to tell you.
Been fucking kind of
Man, where do I begin? God damn. Yesterday, I did not actually broadcast for some interesting news. Once again, pre-watch Piker struck again. I remember I was joking about like what I foresaw would potentially happen as I entered the United States of America, and that thing that I foresaw happening actually ended up happening, and I'm obviously going to talk about it. For those of you who don't know, I was detained by Customs and Border.
I mean, good content, right? Mildly fucking scary, but also good content. I mean, I'm kind of surprised he didn't just bust out the phone and just live stream. I mean, wouldn't that have been fucking hilarious to watch? Like a guy like Hasanabi bust out the phone and just start live streaming as he's getting detained. I think it'd be hilarious.
Patrol. I was tactically ascertained and engaged in a kinetic situation where I was kinetically moved into a detention center inside of the O'Hare Airport, which I will tell you all about in a second. Oh, man. Didn't pass the ocular pat down. I believe it was before the ocular pat down. It's the flight manifest that they get ahead of time. They knew who I was, and they were ready to receive me. Let's just say. And it wasn't a very warm welcome. So what's happening? What's happening in Chicago? What the was that? You know, this is only my second time coming back here, and the first time I was here for the DNC got kicked out. Second time I couldn't even enter the state. Almost. Definitely an interesting experience, let me tell you. Okay, our story begins.
He's not quite hot
Paris's
enough.
Premier international airport.
That Turkish piece is coming too strong.
Now, I'm somewhat of an experienced traveler, and usually as an experienced traveler, I like to get to the Charles de Gaulle airport early because I know, no disrespect to France, I love the country, but Charles de Gaulle airport is one of the worst.
Okay, this is a little too highbrow for me. Look, I be traveling to France so often I know the airports. All right, guys? Just so you guys know, I go to France a lot. I'm always in France with the French people. They know me as Hasan. Hasan. I've never been to France, guys. Just so you guys know. Never been to France.
In Europe, it's a major hub, but unfortunately, due to, I think, like a lack of interest from the managers of any of these companies, where they just refuse to hire additional people. And I feel like in France, you just have to always hire more people because everyone is doing work very slowly. Okay, it's just the pace that you have to.
Okay, first of all, Oz saying kids don't snort. As like a 9-year-old, now I grew up in a trailer park, Oz, so this might be a different experience for most people. But as a 9-year-old, I may or may not have attempted to snort Smarties. Okay, that explains a lot, actually. Wow. Now that I think about it, I think I know what's wrong with me.
Adjust to, and therefore you have to hire more people. There's always like work stoppages and stuff like that, and the unions are relatively powerful, but the corporate overlords will literally punish travelers instead of meeting the actual demands of labor unions there. So I've been in a situation where I've been like stuck in France and stuff. Like I had to do crazy maneuvering to get out.
What is that?
So I knew that. And because I knew that, I was like, I'll go 3 hours early. It's something that I never do. Usually I'm actually very slow. But this time I was like, I'll go 3 hours early and everything will be fine. I was already worried that I was going to have issues coming into the country. I had joked about it already. So I was like, at least on the one side, like leaving the country of France will not be that big of a problem. And boy, was I wrong. Okay, boy, was I wrong. So I hit the triple Monty. I had like a generational run. There was massive traffic going in. When you actually drive into the airport, the person that's dropping you off has to get a ticket at the gate. The ticket actually didn't work. Like, so we were stuck in traffic with like other cars behind us. Like my
like I'm gonna need Hasanabi to. I mean, I get it. The more time spent on camera, the more commercials, the more money. I understand the game, sir. But can we skip the traffic? I feel like I'm stuck in traffic right now.
Driver had to get out and be like, and wave people away from the gate so that we could actually get to a gate that worked, all this stuff, right? And I'm like, oh, brother, here we go. I mean,
Is this how you guys want me to do? Is this how I get famous? Should I just start telling you guys about my day? Is that how I get famous? Do I get more subscribers if I just start telling you guys, like, just talk about, like, what my drive to work was like? Spoiler alert, it's not exciting. It's mostly just a straight shot, and generally there's no traffic because I live in a smaller place. So, yeah, I guess that's probably not a winner. Yes, if I don't have traffic, it's probably they're gonna be short on stories. Sorry.
I'm flying business, so like I have sky priority, so I'm thinking like, oh, at least I'll be able to get my luggage in on time. Barely made it to the check-in, okay? There was already issues with the check-in. Once I got through the check-in, I got hit at every single step. There's an automatic passport processor.
As a white bald man with a beard that looks like he could possibly be MAGA, I'm going to doubt that my stories are going to be anywhere nearly as good as Hasanabi's. I'll just give up.
Where you just kind of step into this room and then, boop, doors open, you walk in, right?
Boop.
I wait in line.
Boop,
there's
indeed.
only one. None of the machines are working. Finally, I get to the machine that is working, and the machine stops working. It just won't take my passport. It won't take my passport. I was like, oh, here we go. So I had to go to an actual officer to let me through so I could get in. Then I got stuck behind classic old lady, okay? Old lady with a lot of bags, with a lot of fluids. So then, like, she's taking her fluids out and, like, doing all this stuff at the...
She's what, sir? The old lady is doing what, sir? She's doing... what?
No. He's a sex offender with a record. When he moved to Hollywood, he had to go door to door to tell everyone he was a pederast.
Dude. Okay. All right. Okay.
Security gate. I'm stuck behind this person. I already took out all my electronics and stuff. But of course, lo and behold, boom, I get stopped at security after this old lady as well. The old lady with the bags of fluids, classic. She obviously was stopped. Okay. She had to get GSR swabbed, all the... And then, of course, I also got stopped. Had to get GSR swabbed, all of this. Because I have electronics on me, and I stopped there. COVID. Generational 3-hour run at Charles de Gaulle, and then afterwards I get into the flight, and I'm like, all right, finally. The flight was actually fantastic. I slept the entire time. I slept like a goddamn baby. Slept the entire time. Didn't even eat on the flight, which is crazy. There's never been a moment where I've
Joe Dirt
it was like what an 8-hour to 9-hour flight, and I didn't even eat. I slept the entire time on the flight. Finally get into the United States of America, and at which point I'm like, all right, let's do it. I got global entry. This is going to be my first ever global entry entrance. Hopefully this will go smoothly. Okay, first time ever getting into global entry. I got it after my brother yelled at me over and over again, telling me you gotta get global entry, whatever. Right? I get to the global entry line.
I don't know what that
and they're
means.
Processing everybody expeditiously. You walk up, boom, immediately they take your photo of your face, and you walk in, and there's a customs person there, cop there, just basically waves you, okay? And they do that over and over again. It gets to me, take a photo, boom, walk in, instantly. The Customs and Border Patrol agent goes, step aside, sir. I was like, here we go. All right. She goes, step aside, sir. An agent will come and take you to another location. I was like, is that proper protocol? I was like, sometimes it happens. And I was like, okay. And I knew at that point, I was like, okay, I'm texting like family. I'm like, this is happening. This is not what I expected my manager. This to be. I was basically trying to, I'm going
to be honest. I thought that this was a much more like, I thought this was like breaking news. Like, I'm not used to the big streamers, guys. I don't apparently know what that life is like. I too have been stopped in France behind an old lady with a bag of fluids. I can tell you guys right now, it's a tough life. It's a tough life.
Lolo on. I was like, listen, I'm going in. All right. I'm freaking going in. Who knows how long this will take? Who knows what will happen? I had already heard like horror stories from people. There was like that one girl on TikTok that had talked about this.
Oh, no, not
and
the
I
one
thought
girl
to
on
myself,
TikTok.
all right, it's done.
Not that
it's
one
happening
girl
to
on
me as well.
TikTok.
It is what it is. Am is real high. I'm about to say am is real high multiple times to get these guys off my back.
What does that mean?
I'm waiting in the corner. This Latina
racist.
ICE agent comes up, picks me up, takes me to this detention center. I sit down, fluorescent light bulbs, the whole nine.
In the butt?
Okay, they have been
Like all 9? Or like just 6 of it? I mean, it's a pretty important detail. Was it all 9 or just 6 of the 9? I mean, Donald Trump does know. Hey, here we go.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way.
It's a good question. Was it all 9 or just 6 of it?
benches in the back of O'Hare Airport where there's like a detention area. Okay, there's a detention area. I'm sitting there. There's like a bunch of terrified families. Okay,
it doesn't get
there's
any
an
more
old
exciting.
lady in a wheelchair. There's like a mom and daughter behind me. There's some like random dude in front of me. And the way it works is there's a back door.
Yeah, it sounds like the TSA's the one that had a really hard time with this. This doesn't sound like he was inconvenienced so much as it sounds like the people that were doing their job don't sound like they're having a great time trying to get the UV in the body, you know? It's.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or
some
other way.
You know, it seems like their job sucked that day,
right? And they.
I'm waiting for this to get good.
Take your passport. They go to the back door. You don't know what the hell's going on in there. But they sometimes come out and they just say someone's name with their passport in their hands. And they go, you're clear to leave. Basically, when they bring you to the detention area, they, I guess, do some kind of surveillance on your background to figure out.
Surveillance on your background. At this point, he's doing this on purpose, right? It's all innuendo, right? It's all innuendo.
If you are going to get harassed even further, or if this level of harassment is fine. Okay. And I asked.
Okay, first of all, I asked HR, and HR said no level of harassment is fine. That's straight from the top, boys. I can tell you this right now. Went to HR. HR said no harassment is fine.
And I looked around at all the passports that people had to see if there were other American citizens. And lo and behold, at least in the area that I was at, I was the only American citizen. There was another guy that actually had an American passport as well. Because I asked the terrified family behind me, I was like, hey guys, if you don't mind me asking, like, do you guys have an American passport? They were like, no. So it turns out it's just they're terrifying the shit out of mostly non-American citizens. Okay. But apparently they're also interested in trying to terrify American citizens as well. So they're just like coming in and out. They get this lady in a wheelchair out of there, which I thought was so insane. Old lady in a wheelchair is in the ICE detention.
Hold on. Did she have any bags of fluids, though? That's the most important question. Did she have any bags of fluid?
Detention area. And they come out with their passport and they're like, here, you can leave. Okay. So that's one thing, right? Like, I've had secondary searches and stuff done to me before. I've had the...
a three-way with the TSA?
I think it's called the quadruple S. Like, they put the SSSS on your boarding pass, and you always get checked randomly when you get hit with that. Like, that's happened to me a lot in the past. I get GSR swabbed all the time. That stuff is normal. I've experienced that quite a bit, okay? But this time, I didn't even have the quadruple S on my boarding pass, so I was like, all right, it's probably fine. So I wait. Finally, this agent comes out. Says Hasan Piker. I'm like, that's me. Coming with me. I'm like, oh brother, here we go. They take me to this back room, okay? And the back room is not great. The back room is designed in the most hostile way I've ever been inside of a room. The vibes are really back there. Everything is fluorescent light bulb, obviously. They had these two seats were firm.
You know you're a YouTuber and you've got 1 million subscribers when you're describing the TSA taking you in to interrogate you and you're like, the vibes were really off, bro. Like, I mean, the lighting was kind of weird. The vibes were really off, bro. Oh, is Hasanabi a good dude? I don't know enough about Hasanabi. Is he? I mean, he seems like he's an okay dude. He does have a candy necklace on, so that's kind of weird to me. It begs some questions, and his continued use of innuendo, regardless of the vibes in the room. Also, well, actually, no, I'm down with that. I like that. That's a plus in my book.
Firmly planted into the ground, okay? They were complete metal. They were like tiny stools, like very uncomfortable, with like braces on the side so you can handcuff someone to them, okay? And there was also a seat for like a lawyer. So I sat down on the lawyer seat on the corner to establish dominance because I've watched too many JCS interrogation videos.
Wait, what? Hold on, we gotta go back. What was that? I need to know this in case I get pulled. I need to know how to establish dominance.
Also a seat for like a lawyer. So I sat down on the lawyer seat on the corner to establish dominance because I've watched too many JCS interrogation videos.
Important to know,
and I knew I had to have command over the room. So I didn't sit in the cuck chair. Instead, I sat in the lawyer chair.
Like, do they, like, literally have sex with your wife right in front of you? Like, the TSA agents or the ICE agents? This is going to be pretty important, guys. This is important to know.
And we got to talking.
Vibes were definitely
and
off.
Let me tell you, folks, the TikTokers that talked about being detained, they were right. It was an insane situation. So it's very obvious that they knew exactly who the I was. It's very obvious that they knew how to like navigate the conversation, and it was a really, really interesting conversation that took place. It was very cordial. Okay, it was very cordial.
Okay, well, now this doesn't sound like a bad time to me. It was an interesting conversation, and it was a cordial conversation. This sounds like a good time. I mean, I like to talk, no matter how the vibes are, no matter what the lighting's like. If it's a cordial conversation and it's interesting, I'm there, brother. Let's do it. I'm going to give him part of my candy necklace.
Which I thought it was strange how cordial it was. Because I've had run-ins with like cops in the past. I've had run-ins with feds in the past. Well, I guess the FBI was very cordial as well when I had some talks with them in the past. But overall, I was not expecting CBP agents to be cordial. I will say that. Okay. Now, having said that, the entire process is supposed to be intimidating. So it's like suck my cordial or whatever. Okay. I think they were being cordial because they wanted me to say something that was incriminating and say something that was enough to justify further detention from that point on. And let me tell you, they certainly did do that. So he knew exactly.
Oh, okay, Kay. All right. See, I'm from a place where no matter what you say, you're going to jail. So there's no games where I grew up. It's just you're gonna go to jail. You don't get a lawyer. We didn't really get to play games where I was from. It was either you run at the start and you get away, or you get your ass beat and then you get taken to jail. Not always in that order either. Sometimes it was get taken to jail, then get your ass beat. Where I'm from, there wasn't a lot of talking, to be honest with you. Entrapment wasn't really a thing because they didn't need it. No one was coming to get you out.
Exactly who the I was, but he was basically like broaching the conversation in a way where it was like free flowing, where in the process of discovery he was adding on additional talking points. He always made it seem as though he was asking certain things that after discovering in the process of that conversation he would ask additional questions. So he's like, oh, what are you doing in Chicago? And I was very revealing. I was like, well, I was in France because I want to take my family out for Mother's Day to France, but I had to come back early from France, even though today is technically Mother's Day, because I have a speaking engagement at University of Chicago. And he was like, oh, what kind of speaking engagement? It's like, I don't know, some like journalism school stuff. And he's like, oh, well, since you mentioned that, he kept saying, oh, well, since you mentioned that, what do you do as a job? And I was like, I'm a Twitch streamer. And he's like, well, since you mentioned that you were a Twitch streamer, what kind of things do you stream about? And at first I was like, do I just tell him?
Okay, see, this is the point where I 100% in trouble because I'd be like, your mom. And this is why I cannot leave the country. I guarantee you. Somebody asked me, what do you stream about? I'm going to drop a, your mom. And that's the end of it, guys. That's the end of it. There was once when I was like 13 years old, 14 years old. I think I was 14 because I had a high school ID. So I was 14 years old. I was with my best friend. We were heading to 7-Eleven for some hot dogs, okay? Because they were 2 for 99 cents. And that's what my poor ass pretty much grew up off of. Was we get a couple dollars and we go down to the local 7-Eleven in the ghetto right across the street from the Players Club, if you guys know what a Players Club is, okay? So we go to the 7-Eleven right across the street from the Players Club, and we get two hot dogs for $1 with chili and cheese. And we'd walk there. So we had to walk through some pretty shitty neighborhoods to get there. So there's almost always a police presence somewhere in that area. And so, being that my best friend was black, we got pulled over. Well, I don't know. Is that we got stopped, I guess is what you say, because we were in a car. We were walking. And the police officer said, do you have ID on you? And, of course, I said no. And he said, well, you have to have ID on you. It's the law for you to have ID on you. And I said, all right, okay. I have my high school ID. And he goes, okay. And I handed him my high school ID. And he's like, what grade are you in? I'm like, I'm a freshman. He's like, how do you have a goatee at 14 years old? And I looked that police officer right in the face, and I was like, because, sir, I actually went through puberty. And then we got taken home in the back of a police car. So that's just to give you guys an idea. Yeah, I'm not going to make it back. I definitely would be deported. It's not going to go well.
I play video games because I don't think this motherfucker's gonna believe me if I say I just play video games to him, right? So I was just like, yeah, I play video games, but I also do current events sometimes, drama, internet. And he's like, oh, do you talk about, since you mentioned that, you talk about the things that you talk about, do you talk about the news? And I was like, yeah, I talk about the news. And he kept saying, okay, so when you talk about the news, do you talk about the war? And I was like, what do you mean by that?
In Iraq?
He's like, do you talk about Trump? And that was the first time where I was like, what the f is this question? Like, I literally straight up told him, I was like, why are you asking me this? Like, I was like, what does this have to do with anything? And it was interesting because the dude asked so many insane questions, none of which is illegal, by the way. I just need you to understand. Nothing I've done online is illegal as of now, if that makes sense. Now, laws may change in the future, and they might actually start prosecuting speech, which I do fear is the goal of this administration. But so far, everything I've done is fully protected under the First Amendment. Okay?
For now.
And none of these questions are actually valid questions to ask. But I was entertaining it because, one, I didn't want to present it as being difficult because I didn't want to extend the attention.
Bro.
And two, I actually wanted to see how far I could take it. Maybe it was up of me to do that. Maybe it was not appropriate for me to do that, to play fast and loose with a person that has complete control over my life in that very moment. But I wanted to see like what they were trying to take from this conversation. So, you know, instead of just pleading the fifth as I'm supposed to do in situations like this, I just kept giving him answers. And there were definitely areas where I was very revealing about my position, knowing full well that they know exactly what they're looking for. I saw no reason to hold back on certain.
He's a sex offender with a record. When he moved to Hollywood, he had to go door to door to tell everyone he was a petter ass.
That's true. It's true.
So I said, I don't like Trump. I was like, what are you going to do? It's protected by the First Amendment. I don't like Trump. Yes. Right? Like, I was like, I'm not fond of him. I don't like him. He said he was going to end the wars. He hasn't ended the wars.
Oh, nice.
What the f is up with
Convert
that? You
the
know?
ICE agents,
and the guy actually was very sympathetic. The agent was very sympathetic. And I don't know if it was like a JCS style interrogation technique to come across as sympathetic to like invoke some kind of positive feelings out of me in an effort to like get me to reveal something maybe that'll trip me up.
Coming from me, that's saying something.
Because he just genuinely was sympathetic and he had the vibes of someone who was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, right?
Okay, what's with the vibes? Is this, once again, I'm just too old, right, guys? I'm just way too old. I don't know about the vibes. Are the vibes that important? Should I be checking the vibes of the police officers that are currently, you know, I don't know, giving me all 9? If they're giving me all 9 and the vibes are off, is that bad? You guys are going to have to help me out with this because I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do in this situation.
But he was like, listen, I'm Iraqi, so I know. And let me tell you, I do think that him being Iraqi played a big role in this, because if he wasn't, there was a lot of Redditor-ass white boys that are at Customs and Border Patrol at O'Hare Airport. I saw them walk by. There was a dude who looked like he was like 25 max, but he was balding. And I knew immediately, if that mother my agent, I'm screwed. I'm going to CCOT. This dude is going to literally cook me. So I got a little lucky. All right. I will admit. So basically, I think the reason why they sent the Iraqi CBP agent is because they bracket you into different categories.
Ah. It's like if you're a girl, you can only get searched by a girl. I get it. Okay. All right. Kind of racist, but that's okay.
For me, they wanted to conduct an investigation about my involvement with Hamas and my involvement with the Houthis.
He has like 1.6
or they suspected my involvement with Hezbollah.
He's got a lot. I tell you, this is apparently
literally
what
this conversation was about. And it's not even a joke. Like,
He's got a cool literally necklace. That's probably
tried
what brings
to
the
get something out of me that I think they could use to basically detain me permanently, which is insane because there is no direct connection or direct involvement. So we're talking.
Okay, hold on. All right. All right. Hold on. If you get... Is this it? Is this one? Okay, here we go. This is what Hasanabi needed to do. This is what you do. Yes, I understand, and I wish to proceed.
Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at Law, as promised, how to get pulled over. You're driving along, minding your own business, and suddenly you see those lights come up behind you.
Yep.
And you get a little nervous and shaky. You need to immediately pull over to the right as soon as it is safe and
Not
clear.
normally what I do.
Use your blinker. You don't want to get caught for not using your blinker as well.
It's going to be a chase.
Pull over to the side of the road. Turn your engine off and make sure your windows roll down just enough to pass your documents through, license, insurance, and registration. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Make sure the officer knows where your hands are at all times.
Got it.
And when he comes up on you and asks you anything, that's when you're going to start in with the script. But it's very important that you keep your license, insurance, and registration nearby. We recommend right up on the visor in the little slot that's there, so you can pull it. He always knows where your hands are. Don't reach for anything, and we will continue with more info. Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at Law, part 2 of how to get pulled over. You want to keep your license, insurance, and registration where you can get it easily.
Why is this two parts?
It's not up on your visor. Keep it in your wallet or your purse. Keep those items in the center console. Take your hands from the steering wheel. Let the officer know, hey, I'm reaching for my ID. It's right over here in my wallet, in my purse. Move slowly, get it, hand it over to him. Most likely he's going to say, do you know why I pulled you over? And what are you going to say?
Why'd you pull me over?
You don't want to admit, I was speeding, I ran a red light. They want to try to trap you into admitting that. Then he's going to start asking questions, and then what do you say?
I'm not discussing my day, sir.
And then when they ask more questions, what do you say?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
I say I invoke the fifth.
And then what do you do?
I shut the fuck up.
Right, you don't tell the cops to shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. Stay tuned. We're going to teach you how to get detained, and if detained, and how to get arrested, and the protocol for that in the next tip tomorrow. Tip of the
day. I'm just not sure that Hasanabi watched this video. Could somebody that knows Hasanabi send him this? It feels like he made a lot of mistakes.
Talking. You know, I'm telling him like, I'm Chicago. I'm going to be speaking there for the journalism school.
Okay.
I told him like, I don't like Donald Trump, and I was like, so why are you guys doing this? And he's like, oh, it's just like routine. It's a routine process. I was like, it doesn't feel too routine. And basically, my big fear from the entire situation was like, if they were to ask for my phone, not that there's anything incriminating in my phone, but I don't want the federal government inside of my phone.
I don't
beyond
know
the
federal government
beyond all
inside
of
of
the
anything.
times where they probably have been
Stay away
engaging
from
in
me.
like warrantless surveillance on my phone or whatever like it's not your business. You know what I mean? It's none of your business. It's a goddamn free country. Like there's privacy.
He's like, look, yes, I do enjoy some BB dub. All right. Yeah, I was looking at that wall waiting for you to interrogate me. And yes, that is what's going to open when you open my phone.
Laws for this country. So for those of you who don't know, by the way, they can't actually unlock your phone. But if you have biometrics on your phone, they could technically use that and put the phone to your face and unlock it that way. So just so you know, they could technically do that. Okay, they could technically do that.
That's not gonna happen to me.
There's a trick.
Bro.
Either you get a burner phone when you're traveling internationally, or if you have your regular phone, you can just do a passcode by either canceling biometrics, or if you forgot to cancel biometrics, like your Face ID, what you can do is click it 5 times. If you click hold 5 times in a row, it will actually disable Face ID and it will force you to put your...
Okay, do any of you guys have that Face ID thing going on? I don't do that stuff. I'm not trying to have my phone seeing my face and then unlocking and shit. I got a pattern. I don't even have a passcode. You got to know my pattern to open my phone.
Passcode in. And because there are laws against the agents not being able to force you to put your passcode in, they can't actually access your phone like that. Now, there's different methods of how they can access your phone from what I...
So far, what we've learned in this story from Hasanabi, which I thought was going to be much more interesting, was that if you get pulled into the back by the TSA, the lighting's really bad, the vibes are off, you should pick the lawyer seat so you don't get cucked, and also you establish domination. And then also, if you click your phone 5 times, it doesn't do the face thing. I feel like I've learned a lot from this video, but also at the same time, I'm not sure why. I thought this video was going to be different.
I understand they can also put it on a computer and just like plug it into a machine, and the machine just basically takes all of the information on your phone. So it is what it is. I don't know if you can actually do that if your phone is on. It took me a long time
to find that out.
I was thinking about all these things. I had already unlocked the biometrics. Like I disallowed biometrics, and it's
I just watched All Quiet on the Western Front. The croissants are stale. Are these croissants stale? Yes. Okay. Yeah, England keeps trying to make... No, you declared war on me, brother. We're going till the end, England, okay? I'm establishing domination.
The Faraday cage once you get into the detention center anyway, so you can't actually send any text messages once you're in there. There's no access to the internet. I'm sitting there, and they're asking me about Trump. They're asking me about, like, Hamas, and he kept saying stuff like, do you like Hamas? Like, do you support...
Maybe he got it wrong. Maybe the guy was asking him if he likes hummus. I mean, that would be racist, but this is Trump's America, okay? Or maybe he was offering him a snack. Maybe he was like, would you like some hummus? The vibes were off. The lighting was bad. He's sitting in the fucking lawyer's chair. Maybe he was just asking him if he wanted some hummus, okay? It's a possibility. At least he wasn't being cucked. All right, guys? That could have been happening.
Hamas? Do you think Hamas is a resistance group? Do you think Hamas is a terrorist group or a resistance group? Like, he just kept asking over and over again, right? And I kept repeating the same statement over and over again. I kept saying a couple different things. One, in terms of like Israel and all the wars, I was like, I'm on the side of civilians. I want the endless bloodshed to end. I am a pacifist. I want wars to end. I just kept repeating that over and over again. Every single time he asked me a question, I just kept repeating that. And every single time he asked me a question, a leading question about Hamas, I kept saying, the United States State Department recognizes Hamas as a terrorist organization. The United States State Department recognizes Hamas as a terrorist organization. So he just kept asking me over and over again, like, Hamas.
I mean, he could have asked you if you were a member of Hamas. That would have been racist.
Houthis, all the... trying to be like, oh, do you support them? Do you like them? Like, what do you think about them? Which I thought was insane, because the reality of the matter is, up until this...
Bro, you live in America. You think that's insane? My dude, have you never encountered racism? I'm going to guess he has. His name's Hasan, right? I mean, he is kind of he is white enough looking, and he does have a candy necklace on. The candy necklace does scream, "I'm a white dude from California." All right. So I mean, maybe that's a good distraction, and he's never had to deal with it. But let's not act like this hasn't been happening to like Black and Latino Americans for the last like 70 years or longer. I mean, this doesn't even sound that bad. This is Trump's America, dog. That Irish lady had like a fucking drug charge from 20 years ago that was wiped clean, and she was detained for like 30 days. I'm failing to see where this is where's the drama? Maybe, okay, all right, guys, we haven't given him enough time. Let's give him a chance.
This very moment, if you were to say, as an American citizen, you stand 10 toes down with Hamas, or you stand 10 toes down with the Houthis, or whatever, they can't deny you entry into the country for that. But I don't know what the they're trying to do. So I was like, I'm not going to go beyond it. I'm not going to go beyond just like reiterating over and over again.
Okay, look, Kay, you know I agree with you, Kay. This is not racism. This is actually an important escalation of fascism. I understand that, and I get that I'm making jokes right now, but you guys should well know that I understand, okay? At the end of the day, all I'm saying is that this shouldn't be crazy. He covers Trump 24/7. He knows what Trump's America has become. When I make jokes about leaving the country, I'm not actually fucking joking. All right, guys? I'm not. Like, I am 100% concerned that if I took a trip outside the country and they got a hold of my phone, they could figure out a fucking reason to deport me. I'm not joking at all. I mean, I think it's funny, but in a really fucked up way. Yeah, I would laugh at myself being deported. Believe me, I'm the guy that goes, "Are you guys deporting me?" And they're like, "Are you laughing?" They're like, "I can't fucking believe this is happening." You know how many times they've joked about this on stream? Like, they'd be like, "Yeah, we're going to send your ass to CCOT." And I'm like, holy shit, my subscriber's going to lose it. They would be freaked out. I'm going to tell you this right now. As they're like, "Put your head down." I'm like, I can't stop laughing. You guys have no idea how weird this is. So yeah, I laugh in the face of fascism. That doesn't mean I don't take it seriously, Kay. I want you to understand that. I'm just saying, first of all, I would not have done a good job, as Hasan Abi has done here. Thus the reason I shouldn't leave the country. Second, I just don't think that it should be all that surprising that this guy's asking him these questions in Trump's America. I mean, sure, we make jokes about it, but we all know it's fucking true. We all know that we have entered the fucking Twilight Zone. We have entered a time in our country that has not ever been seen before. A time where Americans potentially can get deported. Children of Americans, or American children, have been deported. This shouldn't really come as a surprise to anybody at this point. I couldn't stop.
Again, the American government's position is that Hamas is a terrorist organization.
Like, "Get this
but then he just kept asking me about the Houthis. He's like, "Well, do you agree with the terrorist designation for the Houthis?"
If I say
and I said, "I'm of the Brookings Institute mindset that in 2020, when Donald Trump initially designated the Houthis as a terror organization, that was a major mistake. I talk about these issues from an academic." What
do you guys think? What if I just made the joke? What if they said, like, "Are you a supporter of Hamas?" And I was like, "I love Sabra, bro. Like, I mean, I prefer like the Israeli hummus myself. It's got a little more taste to it, more flavor." What do you guys think? Do you think I'm getting let in the country? Probably not. I'm probably getting tackled.
context with humanitarian rights organizations and with academics and with journalists. As a matter of fact,
Dan.
this is completely protected under First Amendment laws, and therefore, I don't understand what the reason why we're having this conversation is. And I kept saying that over and over again. At which point he just like kind of gave up.
It's okay.
But what I thought was really interesting was, and I even followed it up with like I said, I call balls and strikes. And there are things that Trump has done that I actually agree with. And I'm not shy about saying those things, even though initially he said he was going to end all these wars. He hasn't done so. I think these wars are unnecessary. They're costly.
I like that he knows enough about Trump and Trump supporters that he knows the correct tack to take. He doesn't say, fuck Trump. He doesn't say he thinks he's a racist. He doesn't say he's a fascist. Instead, he says, I just want all these wars to end, man. Just like Trump said he was going to do, man. He said on day one he was going to end the wars, and you know what? I disagree with that. Now, mind you, anybody has probably watched this stuff, and I don't watch enough of his stuff to know, but I'm going to guess Hasan Piker has said some mean things about the orange clown. And I guarantee you that if it's me in that badly vibed, not well lit cuck chair, they're going to take a look at one of my videos, and I am Dunsky.
And a lot of civilians die in the process. I don't think it's appropriate. I think it's very inappropriate.
Yeah, David Pakman said as well, you told him not to leave the country.
End, right?
Yeah.
Like that's my position.
Sorry, Jeremy.
But I do think that Trump did a good thing where he implemented a ceasefire with the Houthis. So when
he dropped it. Trump did do some good things, brother. That's a good call, actually. Solid strategy. I'm going to be honest with you. Obviously, Hasanabi, he had the playbook. He did very well. I would not have performed this well. I would not have been let in the country.
He does stuff like that. When I agree with him, I tell him what's what. When I agree with Trump in a decision, I'm open about it, right?
Dan.
So
I'm done.
I explained that to him, and I just yapped away
the
over and over and over again.
too many times.
And what I found to be particularly interesting was in the first half of the conversation, it was just like basically a fact-finding mission, right? Try to get me to say something that I think would be of interest. In the second part of the conversation, there were some real actionable items that he presented that depending on how I answer those questions, like I'm going to jail. Because the first stuff was just illegal for him to ask me those questions and completely idiotic and ridiculous. And I think they did it because they know who the fuck I am and they wanted to put the fear of God into me, not knowing that I'm a stubborn piece of and, that's not going to work at all, right? The second half of the conversation was actually like, because he went away for like 35.
Guruku, I cannot get behind that enough. Bald guys with long goatees should definitely be deported from America. There's absolutely no reason for those types of people to be here in America. And I can tell you that they have done nothing but make America worse. Thank you for being over on Twitch. I appreciate you.
35 minutes, came back, and then he asked like actionable items. But one thing that I will take note of that I thought was very interesting was the fact that a lot of the that like the Ethan Kleins of the world have like cried about over and over again were unironically brought up.
No, he doesn't like Ethan Klein. Okay. See, I know that much. That's right. You guys thought I didn't know anything about streamers. I know that Hasanabi and Destiny don't get along, and I know that Hasanabi and Ethan Klein don't get along. That's right. Fucking, yeah. You guys thought I didn't know anything about big streamers. Yeah, take that.
Up in that conversation. And I was shocked. Okay, not like the bleach sword, obviously, but like the Houthi. Like, did you interview a Houthi? It says here that you interviewed a Houthi, and I was like, or was he actually a Houthi? Now,
those are words I would never get asked in my life. If you,
lady, I got buddies who died face down in the muck so that you and I could enjoy this family restaurant.
All right? My buddies didn't die face down in the muck so you could interview a Houthi pirate. All right? I personally have never been asked, whether or not I've interviewed a Houthi before. That would be kind of Twilight Zone for me. If somebody was like, did you not at one point or another interview a Houthi pirate? I'd be like, this is weird for me to say, but no. Why do you ask? Did he actually interview a Houthi pirate?
A Houthi. It says here that you interviewed a Houthi. And I was like, or was he actually a Houthi? And I was like,
was he actually a Houthi? Okay.
He's not. You can look to all of the reporting that came out afterwards.
He's like, at the time I thought he was, but it turns out he wasn't. So, wow.
And before I interviewed him, that he's not a Houthi, that he is a regular Yemeni citizen. And I said, like, his name is Rashid al-Haddad. He is not even a Shia. And the dude, luckily, again, Iraqi, went, oh, yeah, that's right. That's a Sunni last name. Al-Haddad is a Sunni last name. So,
oh, thank God he didn't get the bald white dude with the long goatee as TSA agent, because let me tell you this, they're all the same, brother.
Oh, he must not have been a Houthi. And the very fact that that was like a point of contention that could have gotten me arrested
get that on the Canadian
is insane.
Nice.
And I genuinely, in that moment, was thinking like, these dumbass slop tubers are actually playing with fire. And I even thought about not even mentioning
The whole world gone crazy! Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
It's true.
this.
Wait, am I a slop tuber, guys? Hold on. Did he just call me a slop tuber? Am I a slop tuber, guys?
Right. That's a Sunni last name. Al-Haddad is a Sunni last name. So he must not have been a Houthi. And the very fact that that was like a point of contention that could have gotten me arrested is insane. And I genuinely, in that moment, was thinking like, these dumbass slop tubers are actually playing with fire. And I even thought...
Okay. I don't know what a slop tuber is. And I probably should not put this in my... What's a slop tuber? Oh, dude. Is this gonna... What's gonna happen here? When a YouTuber... Okay, we'll go to Urban Dictionary. Because I was a little concerned with what was gonna pop up. When a YouTuber transforms their content into something significantly less entertaining than their older videos, usually comes with an appearance change such as obnoxious hair dye as well. Man, Timmy Gaming HD used to be funny back in the day. Now he just posts 8-minute long TikTok reaction videos twice a week. He became a slop tuber. Oh, fuck. I think I am a slop tuber. Oh, shit. Wake up, babe. New insult just dropped. I can't wait to see Hasanabi react to my reaction of his video and be like, this guy's a fucking slop tuber. Look at this old man. This old fucking ginger. What a slop tuber.
Thought about not even mentioning this because I was like, I don't want to give him any sort of like power over the situation. But like the reality of the matter is 100% the Trump administration is inadvertently working with a lot of these dip are playing a formative role in getting people in trouble with the law. Okay. That is literally the case. It was shocking that that was the case, but it is the case. And it's actually very frustrating that it is the case.
Wait, is he insinuating that YouTube people got him in trouble? That is taking YouTube beef to a whole new level, guys. If you take YouTube beef to the level of getting your YouTube nemesis deported, I don't know if I can stand with that, guys. That's not real. That's not healthy. You guys, I think that you know what I think? Is he saying Ethan Klein? Is he saying that guy is a slop tuber? Or is he saying Destiny? I think he's just talking about Ethan Klein, right? I think that maybe they should get marriage counseling. That's going to... Look, guys. This is my advice. Free of charge. Free of charge, guys. I think they should get marriage counseling. It worked for me. It worked for me. And at no point up to this day has my wife tried to get me deported, nor has she accused me of interviewing a Houthi pirate. Okay? Hasn't happened. I can tell you marriage counseling works, guys. It works.
This administration doesn't care. That's why they work with Beitar. That's why they work with all these other...
Okay, you didn't have to go there, bro. Fucking don't be an ableist.
Insane groups. Jeez. The Barry Weisses of the world actually have motion in this goddamn
Barry
admin.
Weiss.
They're cheering this on over at eSub. Yeah, I know. They can suck my liberals, by the way. One of the largest progressive voices in the country getting detained by the Trump Gestapo. Like, what a wonderful progressive audience they have over there. Anyway, they're straight up fascist at this point. So my point is, it's
holy shit. The YouTube life is wild. They're swatting each other. What the fuck? These young men need a father figure. I think I could be that. I feel like, I mean, how old is Hasan? I'm gonna guess he's a young looking dude. It might just be the glasses, or it could be the puka shell necklace. But I'm gonna guess he's 32. We're gonna go 32. Maybe 29? 29. We're gonna go 29. 29 years old. I could be his father. I mean, in my neighborhood, I could be his father. Like, I feel like these younger YouTube content creators need better father figures. I feel like I could be that. I could make that happen. I could also introduce them to a good marriage counselor.
It's crazy that like these were actual questions. Like, they asked me about my Twitch bans, okay, and I talked about blowback. I talked about how, you know, I said America deserved 9/11 and it was misconstrued. You know, I do have sometimes I use hyperbolic language and it gets taken out of context or whatever. And he agreed with the blowback sentiment in terms of like the 9/11 stuff. Yeah, they asked me about my Twitch bans, chat. It's not even a joke. They asked me about...
Dude, did I get that, Kimberly? I got that? I got a 32? Bam! I am so good at this game. I didn't know we were playing a game, but I did get that answer right. Damn, I'm so fucking good. God, I mean, it's kind of weird, to be honest with you. Slightly gay, but I've said it before. Every once in a while that happens. Every once in a while, even as a heterosexual male, you're like, that was a little gay. Gotta admit, was kind of gay. All right? It happens, you know? It's how you explore your sexuality, boys. Shouldn't say boys. Okay, hold on. I gotta distract.
I love Tesla.
It's like legalized comedy.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, fuck. I'm digging a hole right now. I never react to other streamers. This is a bad idea, guys. This is a bad idea. I mean, I do react to other streamers, but in a more kosher way. I feel like he's fierce in his progressive beliefs and makes no apologies. So he's probably, okay, are we putting him on like Kyle Kalinske level of progressiveness? Right? Like that's, okay, so like Humanist Report, those are the two people I know that are like the most progressive people that I watch. Kyle Kalinske, the Humanist Report. That is like, those guys make me look not progressive. Like, I'm a very progressive person in my opinion, but then when I watch those guys' videos, I'm like, damn, oh, wow. You guys are, that's strong. You guys are good. All right. Just gonna sit in the back, watch the pros do it. Is that what we're putting him on? His uncle is Jane from TYT, but that doesn't make him very progressive. I mean, right? I love Tesla.
I love Tesla.
You think he's akin to Uncle Kyle as far as politics? Not akin to Uncle Jenk though. So how is he? He is 57 and denial. AJ, damn. AJ says he's 57. Oh shit, son. Or shit, dude, man, guy, old man. Unknown. We're not talking about that anymore. We're past that, okay?
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way.
In some other way. All 9. That's all I'm saying. All 9. I haven't had time to make any more, guys. I haven't had any more time to make any more. So, you know.
I'll take it away from you and stick it up your ass and pull the fucking trigger till it goes click.
That's what I would have said to the FBI. That's what I would have said. Okay, don't get this. This is recorded? Oh, we're in trouble. Okay, we're in trouble. Or maybe I would have dropped this on him. I would have dropped.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I also would have dropped this one on him.
I got buddies who died face down in the muck so that you and I could enjoy this family restaurant.
Yeah. That's what I would have dropped on him. That's what I would have dropped on him. And when they asked me about Trump, I would have been like,
No. He's a sex offender with a record. When he moved to Hollywood, he had to go door to door to tell everyone he was a petter ass.
Yep. There we go. That's why I would have got deported. Like right away, guys. Right away. Back to Hasan. Sorry, Hasan.
Twitch asked me, and he agreed with the blowback sentiment in terms of like the 9/11 stuff.
Oh, yeah,
they asked me about my Twitch bans, chat. It's not even a joke. They asked.
Hold on. That is pretty fucking weird. When the fucking TSA asks you about your Twitch ban. I mean, maybe if you're Dr. Disrespect. You should probably ask Dr. Disrespect at the border about his Twitch ban.
Asked me about Twitch bans. The other Twitch ban he asked me about was the last one that I got banned, and I explained to him like, this is, man, you really talk way too much. Lawyer will be pretty upset at you. Dude, what are you talking about? I know that under normal circumstances, I'm supposed to say, I want a lawyer. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, why wouldn't you ask for a
nothing
lawyer?
I'm doing is illegal, and I also wanted to see what would happen. Do you understand? I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to actually see this experience, which is why instead of immediately lawyering up, I was like, no, I'm gonna entertain this. I'm gonna see what they actually are trying to get out of this. And I'm glad I did this, because the reality of the matter is, one, I'm profoundly privileged. Okay, remember, I'm a public person, and also I have enough money to be able to fight back against this sort of thing, and they know who the I am.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right, I get it now. Kay and Redonk are fixing this for me. It wasn't a TSA agent. He's talking to the CBP, to Border Patrol. Okay. It's because he's brown. I get it. I got it. Hasan is more to the left than Kyle and very aggressive about it. Damn, Kyle's pretty far to the left. That is, how much further can you go to the left than Kyle? Oh, I guess I have learned that there is further. I have been called out just a couple times by certain people that were like, yeah, you can fucking die. And I was like, wow. Okay.
So obviously the reason for why they're doing that is, I think, to try to create an environment of fear, to try to get people like myself, 100%. Or at least like others that would like be in my shoes that don't have that same level of security, to shut the fuck up. And for me, I'm going to use the privilege that I have in that moment to try and see what the they're doing. Okay, because every single thing that they ask me, trying to get me to say something like, oh, I support Hamas or whatever, is literally not allowed. Like, what the do you mean? Like, why is this denying me entry into the country of my birth? Like, this is my birthright.
What's the chance that Hasan is like the first actual like grown adult U.S. citizen? Wait. So Cenk was born in Turkey, right? Wasn't Hasan born in Turkey? Am I wrong about that, or did he grow up in Turkey or something like that? I need to like actually like do some research on other streamers. I'm not very good at this. I'm bad at my job.
I'm an American citizen. You can't just stop me at the border and be like, "What's your opinion on Donald Trump?" You're not allowed to enter the nation. Like that was the first half. Like I said, they asked about the Twitch bans. They asked about like the Rick Scott statement, and I was like, listen, you know, I laughed. I was like, I'm not
didn't he say something
calling for
Rick
the assassination
Scott?
of a sitting senator to be insane, but instead I explained to him, like, I was talking about the hypocrisy of the Republicans, blah blah blah. I explained away all that and he was understanding. Then he went back and he came back, and the actionable items that came up afterwards was basically asking me about if I had ever been in contact with Hamas, if I had ever been in contact with the Houthis directly.
Like, are we friends on Instagram? Does Hamas have an Instagram or perhaps an X account? I bet Hamas has an X account. That's not even a fucking joke. I bet they do.
Or indirectly, if I'd ever actually been in contact with Hezbollah, if I'd actually ever offered financial support or logistics or any kind of support to Hamas, Hezbollah, or Houthis. They straight up asked me that. And I laughed. I said, no, of course not. But yeah, that was, once again, these are questions that they're asking. But one thing that I thought was really interesting was in the actionable side of things, they also asked, have you ever interviewed a member of Hamas? Have you ever had a communication or correspondence with a member of Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Houthis? Now, what's really insane about that is that as someone who works in media...
No, hold on. AJ. Yeah. It's pederast, sometimes not pederast. So, here you go. It's Pederast. Pederast. The term pederastic is an adjective that describes something related to pederasty. Pederasty is a term with a complex history and meaning. It refers to sexual relationships between those two people, and it was socially acknowledged practice in ancient Greece and Rome and elsewhere. However, it's crucial to distinguish this historical practice, that sounds just like the AI is... AI, what? What are you talking about, AI? That's literally the same shit. Just because it happened in ancient Greece doesn't make it okay, AI. All right? It's pederast, not pederast. It's different, AJ. It's different. It's different, okay? Yeah.
No. He's a sex offender with a record. When he moved to Hollywood, he had to go door to door to tell everyone he was a pederast.
It's very important to know the difference.
I do actually do journalism, right? As I've maintained this position over and over again. And I said that I would have given the opportunity to talk to someone that is a part of the Ansar Allah movement, a Houthi, or even Hamas, or even Hezbollah, right?
Okay.
I think that I have the right to do so.
You are helping me
out
here.
That is the part where they were like, if you answer yes to any of that, that's when, there's...
Dude, unknown. We're past that. Unknown says, I don't think enough people recognize the dangers of these social media companies having your info and selling it to the highest bidder. Everything you do is recorded. Everything. Dude, Palantir is like the Cambridge shit on crack, right? Like, Palantir, their whole fucking job is data mining. Well, not their whole job. They also do some shit for Wendy's. Data mining people's personal information, and now they sell it to the government. Like I said, this is the insanity of all the Trump supporters that would just like legit send me just shit over and over again about how much they hate the government spying on people, how much they hate BlackRock, how much they hate all of this corporate cronyism and blah, all this shit. Like the people that were in Saudi Arabia with Trump just now, Palantir, BlackRock. Like, you can't make this shit up, dude. Like, it's fucking mind-bendingly insane. How many people now are just, like, disavowing the fact that 2 months ago they were claiming that BlackRock was the devil. They were claiming that the government watching you and stealing your information was the devil. And they're like, Trump's good. Well, he's literally working with Palantir to steal your information and sell it to the government. No, it's Palantir's good now. BlackRock's actually good now. I told you, I don't want to do politics today because it's like fucking... I can't... It's fucking exhausting. It's exhausting keeping up with the dumbassery. All these people... They're just like, no, up is down and left is right, bro. And it always has been. I didn't say BlackRock was bad. I've always liked BlackRock. I didn't say the government stealing your information was bad. Fuck Edward Snowden. Like, I have the messages, the emails. If I could learn how to show this to people, I would.
It's like actually illegal stuff in there. Having said that, there is one part of it that wasn't illegal, which is being in communications or being in contact with someone in Hamas.
You need to be like
that is a part of journalism you actually can do. It's ridiculous. Like, you can interview ISIS. Like, what are we talking about? The notion that this would be an issue for the Customs and Border Patrol is ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Donald Trump is in contact with Hamas. He had a envoy.
Sweet burn, Hasan. Sweet burn. That's what you should have said. Oh, you should have dropped that one on him. I'm not in contact with Hamas, but you know who is? Donald J. Trump. Bam!
Directly talked to Hamas a couple months prior. He's in direct contact with the Houthis. Like, what are you talking about? And so is Dropsite. Like, the idea that this will deny you entry into the country is...
Wait, read on. Show me the proof of Palantir working with Biden. I don't believe that that's true. I don't believe Palantir. Now, I bet I could find something to do with BlackRock. Was Palantir... Hold on. Let's just do it. Why am I asking you for it? Palantir work with Biden's government. I bet they probably did. I'd imagine they did. Yes, Palantir Technologies is to work with Biden administration. Here's a breakdown of their work. Immigration enforcement, Palantir. Now, this is the AI, of course. We need to actually look to make sure, but it's probably right. Immigration enforcement, Palantir has a long-standing relationship with immigration and customs enforcement, which continued during the Biden administration. Notably, Palantir received a $30 million contract in mid-April 2025 from ICE to build... That's not with Biden, though. 2025 is from Trump. Palantir joined the Biden administration voluntarily commitments on artificial intelligence in September 2023, seeks to expand efforts to shape the development and use of AI technology. Yeah, I remember hearing about the AI thing. I don't know. I don't think I remembered hearing about Palantir, though. Palantir software was used by the federal government as early as 2010 to fight fraud in the stimulus package. Then Vice President Joe Biden credited Palantir. See, now that doesn't surprise me, because I know that they worked with Obama, as I pointed out before. Biden credited his success to the software Palantir being deployed by the federal government. He announced that the capability will be deployed. Yeah, so they were using them to supposedly suss out any, because that's what they, right? That's one of the things Palantir claims to do, is that they stop fraud. Like, that's one of the things that they claim to do as well, while they're data mining your shit. I'm just saying they didn't stop working. Yeah, well, it looks like they also worked with it. Palantir is involved since Obama. Yeah, that I knew. But I wasn't sure how they had worked with Biden. But my point being, though, Redonk, my point being is that when Biden was in office and people were asking me if I supported BlackRock, I said no. Why? Because BlackRock was buying up huge swaths of businesses. The idea that, or not businesses, sorry, houses. The idea that, what is it, Terminus, Vanguard, and BlackRock own like 90% of like all the wealth or whatever. It's like the fucking, those three companies own like pretty much own America, is bad. And you're not going to change my mind by telling me that they worked with Biden, right? You're not going to change my mind by telling me that they work with Obama. I'm not going to be like, oh, they were working with Obama, so that was okay. Or, oh, they were working with Biden, so that was okay. My point is that every fucking one of these Trump supporters said BlackRock was bad, said Palantir was bad, and are not at all unhappy with the fact that the guy that they claimed was different than Biden, different than Obama, different than any president that has ever came before. He's anti-establishment, anti-corporation, anti-corruption, bro. He's going to drain the swamp. Is literally fucking working with BlackRock and Palantir. The people they claimed are the most fucking corrupt people on the planet, and we agreed on that. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, I lost it just for a second. It's fucking mind-bending. It's mind-bending that these people are accepting
like,
this.
What
now.
are we talking about? What do you mean? Like, what kind of insane double standard is there? Right? So that part was frustrating.
They indicted her, huh?
The interview, interrogation, whatever you want to call it, that basically ended with me asking, like, so what is the purpose of this? Like, am I being detained? And because I was like, you know that I'm going to talk about this.
Yeah, I don't think it's
and I was like, a lot of people have talked about this like detainment structure. And he was like, yeah, people really exaggerate how these things go. And I was like, well, it is not a great situation to be in, you know? Like, what do you mean? And yeah, he was like, yeah, there's been a lot of reporting on, the conditions and situations like this in detainment, but you're not technically detained. I was like, so I can leave? Like, I asked him, like, I was like, am I detained? And he's
okay. How much longer is this? This is 11 more minutes. Okay, let's watch Candace Owens talk about space being fake. Sorry, Hasan. I know this is probably the best part, but you took 28 minutes to get to it, dog. Look, at the end of the day, it's bad. It's bad for Trump to be detaining all these people at the border, period, that are U.S. citizens or here legally on visas and deporting them. And it is fucking scary that people are getting stopped for having their political beliefs be different. Because once again, like I said, more fucking hypocrisy from the Trump crowd. You can't stop with the hypocrisy from the Trump crowd. It's every day, all day, never fucking stops. The very people that claim free speech, brother, free speech, the Facebook made the Bidens have to stop. The Bidens made the Facebook stop telling the truth about Trump and COVID. All the COVID vaccines, they did bad things to people. Y'all all gonna die soon. All that shit, okay? All of those people are completely okay with people being detained at the border for shit they said on Facebook. They're fucking hypocrites. It's never going to be the same in this country because broken ass, mentally fucked up people that couldn't deal with a small amount of fucking adversity are never coming back. They've joined a cult. They don't care whether a cult leader does shit that is absolutely the fucking exact opposite of every single fucking thing that they said. He didn't stop the war in Ukraine. He is going to fucking send people into Gaza. He fucking literally demolished the place and continues to fund it. He's not anti-war. He's damn near on the fucking doorstep of starting a fight with fucking Iran right fucking now. He's tariffed the shit out of everybody in the world, causing grocery prices to go up. Like, the man's a hypocrite. And if you can't admit that the shit that he's doing now is hypocritical, then you're in a fucking cult. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And check out that video on the screen now.